What is better? An 8 or 9 game conference schedule. Tonight, the SEC released the 2024 conference opponents. Um, Very interesting to see some of that. First of all, I think the SEC did a phenomenal job making it balanced, also retaining traditional rivalries. That was the most impressive thing. They retained every single traditional rivalry, which I was very appreciative of. So, Rustin, do you want to go first? Or you want me to give my opinion first?
But
8 or
don't you
9?
think they retained every traditional rivalry because they know in 2024 or 2025 it's going to be gone? Like
Well,
this is kind of like
maybe.
the Swan. This is the Swan song. They're like, yeah, we kept it for you. All right, now next year we're going to change it.
Well, and that's one thing to consider is that um, the 2024 schedule is a standalone thing. This format, could it be continued on? Yeah, it could if they agree on it. But as it stands right now, the 2024 format is only for 2024. And then they're going to reevaluate and proceed from there. But as it stands right now, it is only for 2024. So I'll go, you want me to go first? I'll go first.
Go for it.
So I personally am a big proponent of the 8 game schedule. And I know that there are a lot of people who disagree with me. I think Rustin might actually disagree with me. But I personally am a big proponent of the 8 game schedule. The reason being is because all that matters is wins. That's it. That's all that matters in the long run. So at the end of the season, as the playoff committee is sitting there looking at, you know, what's their strength of schedule, who is their best loss. No, didn't mean to rub any wounds there, but that kind of stuff. The one thing that changes all that, how many wins do they have? That's the one thing that changes it. What's their record? Um, it doesn't matter if you're playing, you know, Chattahoochee Middle School. Of course, Coach Lance Decker would, he's undefeated. He's under 50-0, so you might lose. But it doesn't matter if you're playing a middle school team. If you win, it helps you. At the end of the season, if you think about Georgia in 2023. Their season this year, they have a cupcake schedule. No, it's not a cupcake schedule, but it's as pretty doggone close as you can get to a cupcake schedule as you can. They have an easy schedule ahead of them. And all that matters is that they win. If they go through that schedule and they win every game, they're going to be in the playoff, period. So all that matters is if you win. So why not do what Nick Saban has done? Why not do what these other teams have done and schedule as many easy games as you can? Because all that matters in the long run is that you win the games. That's it. It doesn't matter who you play. All that matters is that you have won. At the end of the season, if you're 12-0 or 11-1, you're getting in the playoff in the SEC. That's the reality of it. So why would you want to add another game? Now, I know there's money involved. I get that. But why would you want to add in another difficult game that you have to win when you could have 4 FCS teams on your schedule with guaranteed 4 W's right there? Now, I invite you to consider Florida right now because Florida just got their 2024 conference opponents revealed to them. And somebody at Florida may have it out for Billy Napier. I don't know. But Florida, they're playing every big school in the state of Florida in 2024. They're playing Florida State, they're playing Miami, and they're playing UCF. Okay. If the SEC had gone to a 9-game schedule, that last game would have been another SEC team. So Florida's schedule in 2024, if it had been a 9-game schedule, would have been 9 conference games and 3 Power 5 schools. No, thank you. Tennessee already has to have to schedule. I said 4 FCS schools. Well, I shouldn't have said that because it'd still be 3 because you still have to schedule an out of conference Power 5 school. So why not schedule one of those and have 3 FCS games, and you've at least got 3 wins in your back pocket? That's just my opinion. I think what we saw tonight with some of the schedules, like Alabama, dadgum, they got a hard hard road ahead of them. Excuse me, in 2024. So that's my opinion. I think that the 8-game schedule is what's best for the teams if they want to make it to the college football playoff, which, let's be honest, the SEC wants teams to make it to the college football playoff. And now that it's in 2024, when it's expanded to 12 teams, the SEC could legitimately end up with 2 or 3 teams every year in the
or
playoff.
4 or 5
or 4, yeah. And they want that. They want that to be the case.
Mm-hmm.
What's your opinion, Russ?
So, as strictly a fan's perspective, I love the 9-game schedule because I just want to see better games. The other day on Mac and Cube, Greg McElroy said, he made this comment. He said, I'm not going to go watch Georgia and Citadel. He said, and if there is even an average game on television at the same time, I'm going to watch the average game. So, from just a sheer fan's perspective, I would prefer the 9 because then you add on the mandatory Power 5 game. Now you got 10 Power 5 games on the schedule, and it's just better TV. But if I was a coach, I would be screaming for the 8-game schedule because you're going to mandate that I play another Power 5. There's going to be a mad scramble to schedule every bottom end Pac-12 and Big 12 team in America. Everybody's going to be trying to get them. And those people are actually going to make a lot of money off this deal. And, luckily Tennessee already has NC State as their Power 5 game in 2024. So that's a extremely winnable game. So from a coach's perspective, I would want the 8. I think the residual benefit of 8 that probably the NCAA and the SEC have thought of, but maybe the common fan hasn't. We don't want to get to like 10 conference games, or heaven forbid, you have to play 12 conference games and there's no non-conference games, because those are all steps toward mega conferences, and those are all steps toward the group of 5 schools all being out of business. And, the FCS schools just quitting football because they just can't afford to do it anymore. People need to understand that FCS schools need these payday games. Some of these payday games don't just pay for the football program, they pay for minor sports as well at these schools.
Right.
So, you're not just talking about, we want really, really good football. We want mega conferences. We want, Clemson and Florida State to leave the ACC and come to the SEC. Let's play 12 conference games. And, ESPN gets all these massive TV rights. If you're a fan of Samford, or if you're a fan of UTC, you don't want this because your alma mater won't have football much longer. 10 conference game schedule is not new. The Pac-12 did this a couple of years ago and have kept it in place. And I think everybody associated with the Pac-12 would collectively agree that it's been a horrible idea.
Well, how many Pac teams have made the college football playoff in the last 5 years?
So it's hurt them in bowls. It's hurt them in the playoffs. I think they would all collectively agree they wish they could switch it back.